Hello, welcome to University of Pattern Drafting. So today's class is going to be on waist snatching, and I'm going to try to be as detailed as possible. But first off, I wanted to mention that this is a snippet from the Advanced Online Corset Masterclass. So to purchase the full course, please follow the seller link in the description box or send a WhatsApp message to the number that you can see on this flyer. So first off, what is waist snatching? Waist snatching essentially means compressing the waistline so the shoulders, your bust and the hips appears more prominent. So this is an outfit by Tuber. We all know Tuber, the prominent designer, and you can see how snatched the waistline is. So a snatched waistline is basically a contemporary term used to describe that figure eight shape that a corset or any compression garment creates, where the shoulders, the bust and the hips are made more prominent by compressing the waistline. This is an outfit by Veekee James. This is Veekee James herself, and you can see how snatched the waistline is. And so I'm going to be showing you how to create garments that would help your clients have this same body contour effect. And some designers also go ahead to pad the butt area of the garment, just like CEO Lumini has done here. This outfit is by CEO Lumini, just to create a more prominent butt, and also just to add a lot more shape to the client's body. So today, what we're going to be focusing on, however, is just on waist snatching. So before we start, I wanted to define a couple of terms. So first term I'm defining is circumference measurement. So your circumference measurements are measurements that are taken around the body width. So for example, your bust circumference, your under bust circumference, your waist circumference, your hip circumference. Do you understand? All of these measurements are taken around your body width. There are other circumference measurements, but these are the circumference measurements that we are going to be focused on. The second term that I'm going to be defining is arc measurements. So arc measurements are derived by dividing your circumference measurements by 4. Do you understand that? So your bust circumference divided by 4 is your bust arc. Do you understand that? So if your bust circumference is 36, it means that your bust arc is 36 over 4, meaning your bust arc is 9 inches. Do you understand? I hope that is clear. If your underbust is 28, your underbust arc will be 28 divided by 4, which will be 7 inches. Do you understand? I hope that is clear. So the third term that we're going to be defining is waist snatching. I'd already talked about that. So essentially, it is the art of compressing your waistline so that your bust, your shoulders, and your bust appears a lot more prominent. So the fourth term that we're going to be talking about is dart intake. So dart intake essentially means the width of your darts. Do you understand? So you can have your dart intake at your underbust area or your waist area. Do you understand? It just essentially means the total width of that, or total width of the darts that you're going to be taking in at that area of the body. Do you understand that? So now here are the measurements that I'm going to be using for this example. So the bust is going to be 42 inches. A student actually sent me this measurement. So this is what we're going to be working with. And then the hip is 44 inches. So let's go ahead to draw out this waist snatching calculation table. So I'm just going to draw out 4 columns. So these are my 4 columns, and I'm going to go ahead and label them. The first column is circumference measurement, second column is arc measurement, third column is waist snatching, and the fourth column would be for the dart intake. So remember that this is the bust measurement that we're working with. The bust measurement is 42 inches circumference, So to derive the bust arc, we're going to be dividing that 42 inches by 4. That will give us 10.5 inches. Do you understand? I'm trying to be as slow as possible. Then the next thing that we're going to be working with is the underbust measurement. So the underbust circumference is 36 inches. So to derive the underbust arc, you divide 36 by 4. That will give us 9 inches. Is that clear? Then the third circumference measurement we're going to be working with is the waist circumference. Waist circumference is 37 inches. The waist arc will be 37 inches divided by 4. That will be 9 1/4 inches or 9.25 inches. And then the last circumference measurement we'll be working with is the hip. The hip circumference is 44 and the hip arc is 44 divided by 4. That is 11 inches. Do you understand? So I'm just going to go ahead and draw out rows for this. Okay, so the next column we're going to be moving to is the column for waist snatching. So there's no waist snatching at the bust area. Can you see that? That's why I just put a dash there. But at the on the bust, to get your make your calculations for waist snatching, just subtract 0.5 inches from your underbust arc as well as 0.5 inches from your waist arc. Do you understand? And then on the hip, there's no waist snatching on the hip. Do you understand? So essentially what we've done is to subtract 0.5 inches from the underbust arc and the waist arc. Do you understand? We subtracted 0.5 inches from the underbust arc. That gave us 8.5 inches. Do you understand? In previous videos, we used to take out as much as 1 inch for waist snatching. But please bear in mind that if you take out as much as 1 inch for waist snatching, you shouldn't take out anything at that center back. Remember that at the center back for the modesty panel area, so that we can have this to snatch the waist and pull your corset ropes properly, we usually crop off about 2 inches from the that center back area. If you're taking out as much as 1 inch for your waist snatching, then you shouldn't crop off that area. Do you understand that? So next thing now is dart intake. So for your dart intake, always work with your bust arc measurements. Do you understand? Always work with that bust arc measurement. Remember our bust arc is 10.5. So subtract your waist snatching measurement that you got from that bust arc, meaning 10.5 minus 8.5. Can you see that? That will give us 2 inches. So your dart intake at your underbust should be 2 inches. And then same thing for the waist, subtract 8.75 from 10.5. Do you understand? That will give us 1.75. I hope this is really clear. So that's essentially what we have, 1.75. Do you understand? So for your dart intake, always work with your bust arc measurements. Do you understand? And remember that there's no dart intake at the hip line area. Do you understand? So this is essentially the table that we're going to be working with, and this is the table that we're going to be using to draft the patterns. So please bear in mind that all of this works when you're going to be using lace and ropes at the back of your corset. Do you understand? First off, you have to have boning, and then you have to have lace at the back. Do you understand? And even if you want to use zips, ensure that it has a hidden corset inside beneath the zip. Do you understand that? So here is my basic bodice pattern, and this is my bust point line. I'm imputing my bust arc there, and that is my hemline, and I'm imputing my hip arc there. And then this is my natural waistline. I'm imputing my bust arc there too. Do you understand that? So I'm going to connect all 3 points. You can see that there's just a slight contour at that point. However, on this natural waistline, we're still going to go in by 1 inch. But on my hemline, I'm coming up by 1 inch because I want to have the hemline of my corset slightly curved. Do you understand that? So this is me reconnecting that back to my center front with my pattern master. So now on my natural waistline, I'm going to mark 1 inch. Can you see that? This is my natural waistline. This is the side seam, and I'm marking 1 inch. Can you see? And I'm going to connect that back to my bust arc and then to my hip arc on my hemline. Can you see that? I'm going to use a bolder pen to do this so that you can see it clearly. So this is what we have now. So you can see that you can already see the contour. Do you understand? You've already created a contour at that side of the body. So bear in mind that from our dart intake on the natural waistline, we've already deducted 1 inch. Do you understand? That's what we took out at that side seam. So now I'm going to go ahead and impute and create more panels. So this is what you can just see me marking. The full tutorial for this Victorian corset is already on the channel, so you can follow the link in the description box to watch it already. So this is one panel that I've created. I'm going to go ahead and create more panels. So now remember that for our natural waistline, our dart intake was 1.75 inches. So let's just round that up to 2 inches. And we've already taken 1 inch from the side. Can you see from that dart on the side? So meaning that we have just 1 inch left to split amongst this 3 lines. Can you see that? So the center line is the bust span line. So we're going to split that remaining 1 inch amongst all 3 lines. And then for the underbust, we'll talk about that, but this is me marking 0.25 inches on both sides of that line. Can you see that? 0.25 inches. And then mark the same 0.25 inches on the hemline, and then just square that out. So we have 0.25 inches on both sides of that line, meaning that in total we have half an inch. Do you understand that? So meaning that on that natural waistline, now we've taken out 1.5 inches. So we have 0.5, that's 0.5 inches left. You know that we rounded it up to 2 inches. So 1.5, 2 inches minus 1.5 is 0.5 inches. So we still have 0.5 inches to share on amongst those 2 other lines that you can see. Do you understand? So this is a dart, this is also a dart. Do you understand? Remember that this is 0.25 inches, 0.25 inches. Do you understand? 0.25 and then 0.25. So now remember, this is our underbust. We've taken out 0.5 inches at that underbust. Do you understand? By reason of that slanted line, that's contour that we created, 0.5 inches went away from that underbust. I remember that at our underbust we have 2 inches, so meaning that we have 1.5 inches to share. So on those lines I marked 0.75 inches. You understand? That's what you saw me marking, 0.75, and then on that line 0.75. Do you understand? So this is 0.75 and then 0.75. Can you see that? So now we are that at the natural waistline is actually complete. Can you see that? So we have 2 inches dart intake at that natural waistline. At the underbust, our dart is also complete. Dart intake is also complete. So we had half an inch by the side, that's the side seam. From slanting it that way, we have half an inch by that side, and then we now shared the remaining 1.5 inches into 2, meaning 1.5 divided by 2 is 0.75 now. So 0.75 on both sides of on along those lines. Do you understand? Along the panel lines that we created. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect all of those points. So can you see that I'm connecting my all of the points? So that's 0.25 inches on the natural waistline and the hemline. And I'll connect that, and then connect that to the 0.75 inches on the underbust line before I now pencil it at the top. Do you understand? So please bear in mind that this the sizes might look smaller because I'm just using this pattern for illustration. Do you understand? So can you see what I have done? From the underbust, just pencil it to your bust point. So I penciled it to my bust point line. Can you see that? So this is basically what it is. Do the same thing on this other panel. So please bear in mind that all of this works when you're going to be using boning, do you understand, as well as lace and ropes at your back. Do you understand? So these are my darts. Can you see that? So you can see the way it looks. Can you see we've shared our darts, properly amongst all these panels. If you had more, you would have to do the same. Do you understand? Sort of like share your darts in a reasonable way amongst all of the panels that you have. Do you understand that? So now for the front, our dart is complete. Remember we had 0.5 inches here. That's what I was saying at that time. So this is my dart, and this is a dart as well. Do you understand? And then somehow we created a dart at that side seam. Can you see that? So this is a front pattern. You can go ahead and do the same for the back pattern. Do you understand? So this is how to sort of like share your dart amongst your panels. So this applies to, as I mentioned earlier, when you're using boning as well as corset loops at the back. However, if you want to use zips, ensure that you have a corset, an inner corset inside. Do you understand? Sort of like this image that you can see on the screen. I'm just going ahead to label all of my panel pieces. So if you're going to use zips, ensure that there's a corset inside. There's an inbuilt corset already inside. Do you understand? So that zips can work. So this variation of inbuilt corset is part of what we'll be doing in the Advanced Online Corset Masterclass, where we had already created this sorts of corsets. Do you understand? So to purchase the full course, please follow the seller link in the description box, or send a WhatsApp message to the number that you can see on this flyer. I trust that you found this video really helpful. If you found it helpful, please ensure that you give this video a like, and then go ahead to subscribe if you aren't subscribed yet. Thanks for watching. Ciao.